Last month, I decided to run an experiment. A really interesting thing happened during this month of making the book free. I really have no explanation for what happened on the 21st of September. And it's just so weird. I wanted to see how many copies a debut author with no pre-existing platform and no other form of backing could actually move on their own using only social media platforms. And there were a couple of reasons why I chose Reddit. There are 2.5 million members of this subreddit, several thousand of which are active every single day, more than I would ever be able to reach on my own. It's a really good way for me to keep an eye on what readers care about and the kinds of books that they're looking for. It is very, very welcoming of authors participating in that community. They have a number of different initiatives that actively promote indie and self-published works. The 3 big initiatives that are hosted by this community are the annual Stabby Awards, which includes an award for self-published authors. There is also the annual Big List of self-published fantasy, as well as the annual Bingo Reading Challenge, which includes a dedicated square for indie and self-published works. The 4th big initiative that the community gets behind is the annual self-published fantasy blog off contest, which is hosted by Mark Lawrence. The community also allows self-promotion within reasonable limits. Not only is there a weekly self-promo thread, there's also an ongoing monthly resident authors book club that you can nominate your book for, and you're also allowed to do cover reveals and giveaways. And if you're a good community member, meaning that you're active and you participate in the discussions in meaningful ways, most readers on that community also don't tend to mind self-promo related recommendations if it happens to be directly relevant to the topic of discussion and you only do it once in a blue moon. The other thing that's really great about Reddit is visibility. I feel like it's actually easier to build a social media presence on Reddit and also have your content be seen versus other social media platforms. The way posts and comments are displayed on Reddit really emphasizes the content rather than the poster. And there are multiple ways of viewing the content on Reddit. By default, posts are displayed on the hot setting and comments are displayed on the best setting, but users can go in and change this at any time. And while there is an algorithm at play, the main determinator of whether something gets a lot of attention on Reddit is based on users upvoting your content. And as long as what you're saying makes sense and actually adds to the discussion, your comment or your post will get upvoted. So I did all of that. I check the subreddit every day, and whenever I saw a post come up where I felt like I had something to add to the discussion, I would hop in and just write a short comment or respond to other comments. And because of the way the UI works, most people will just be responding to your comment and not really to you in particular. So no idea whether really regular participation moves the needle, but honestly, I kind of like it. I like that it focuses on the content and the actual discussion, and the fact that most of the discussion is happening in words. In comparison to Instagram, I find Reddit vastly preferable. I made sure to comment on the weekly self-promo thread, which is organized randomly, and also added my book to all of the qualifying bingo squares and nominated my book for the Resident Authors Book Club. And when I was lucky enough to be chosen by random selection, I also ran a giveaway for the full month of that book club. Did any of this actually result in sales? Let's talk about the results and what I would recommend you do if you want to try a similar strategy. And the first thing I need to say about the results is a huge caveat. It is very hard for me to track any of this activity through to book sales. URL shorteners and universal links are not permitted, and therefore you can't really track the clicks and the subsequent conversion. The other thing is typically people don't really put sales links. Occasionally, where I feel like my book would actually be a really good recommendation for what that reader is looking for, I just disclose the book's title, a couple of words on how it relates to their reading request, and the fact that it is a self-promo related rec. So unless that person upvotes my comment or replies to me, I have no idea if anyone ever saw the recommendation, let alone went to look at the product page. But I do have evidence that the self-promo thread actually works, which honestly was astonishing, but I'm super grateful for. For things like giveaways and cover reveals where you would be making an actual post in the subreddit, as well as things like the Resident Authors Book Club, it is a little easier to measure the kind of visibility you're getting. The main measures are really upvotes, comments, and the number of commenters. And if you actually make the post, you can get a lot more insights onto the post itself. The Resident Authors Book Club is great for visibility because you're guaranteed 5 posts about your book in the quarter that it occurs. The selections post, the Q&A post, the midway discussion, the final discussion, as well as the monthly roundup post. My book did okay, all things considered, and I think it is a really good way to get your book in front of a very high profile book reviewer in the fantasy community. I don't know what my chances were of Lucas actually reading my book outside of this book club, and for this reason the book club was worth it for me because I got a really solid review from him on both Amazon and Goodreads. My recommendation though would be to wait and not apply for this with your first book because you can only enter once. I actually really like this rule because it creates that room, that space for new authors who otherwise have no other means of getting their book out there. But it does mean that now I will never be able to nominate any of my other books for this book club ever again. I should have just waited until book 2 was up for pre-order. The other thing you'll want to do is set aside plenty of time to do the Q&A because the set of questions are quite extensive. I actually did my giveaway in 2 parts. I had a physical signed editions as well as free ebooks. And for both parts, I tried to make the barriers to entry as low as possible because my goal was to try and maximize the number of new readers that I was reaching. I couldn't do an unlimited international giveaway because of the legal requirements that you have to comply with around giveaways, but what I did do was offer a number of additional copies on top of the prizes in the giveaway just for the cost of shipping, and I also took my ebook wide. Giveaways on the sub have a really wide range of performers, and I think mine did okay for somebody who's completely alone, has a book without a particularly exciting title, and isn't in any of the hot subgenres. I kind of threw the option of buying a signed hardcover just for the price of shipping out there, not because I really expected anybody to take it up, but because I've personally been in the position where I've wanted to enter a giveaway and I can't because I don't actually live in that country. And so I was pleasantly surprised to log in the day after the giveaway had gone live and I saw somebody had actually taken up that option. Would have been good if I had calculated shipping correctly, but then on the other hand, calculating it correctly, I don't know whether that person would have exercised that option. So who knows? Who knows? There were 2 things that tripped me up when I was making my giveaway post. The first was, since I had taken my ebook wide and URL shorteners and universal links are not allowed on the sub, I wanted to provide direct links to all of the retailers. And for some stupid reason, I used the pipe delimiter to separate out all the links, which meant my post got caught up by the auto moderator for having broken spoiler tags. The second thing that tripped me up is the fact that you cannot flare your own posts on this particular sub, which meant I had to message the moderator team 3 times overall. Once for permission to run the giveaway, once to fix the issue with the broken spoiler tag, and the 3rd time to get the giveaway flag. Live and learn. At least I got to see all of these cool posted sites. And honestly, the conversion rate is not bad. Running the giveaway cost me 330 Australian dollars, but it netted me 860 downloads in total, which works out to about just under 40 cents a copy. Looking at these results, I still have a number of unanswered questions. First and foremost was, would it have been possible to break even on the giveaway if I had left my book in KU? Despite going wide, the vast majority of downloads did still come from the Kindle store. If you do plan on going wide and you haven't set up any of your publisher accounts on the wide platforms, I do recommend allowing yourself at least a week, ideally 2, just to make sure your account can go through the full setup process and for your ebooks to go live on every single platform before you launch. Since Amazon doesn't volunteer much information about how many people are actually reading your book in KU, my best guess based on 1 term of being enrolled in KDP Select for this book is roughly 20% on my Kindle readers. And since I make about $4 per full read through on KU, I would have needed at least 83 full reads on KU to break even on the costs of my hardcover giveaway, which might have been possible since 83 full page reads would have been a little over 10% of the total downloads that I had on the Kindle store. So do I have any conclusive proof on whether or not it was better to go wide or better to stay in KU? Not really. All I know is by going wide, I was able to reach 50 more potential readers than if I had kept my book exclusive. Putting that all to one side, was the expense of running the hardcover giveaway worth it? Because if I had kept this to just an ebook giveaway, it would have cost me nothing. So I do feel like doing the hardcover giveaway actually got more eyeballs on the giveaway itself simply because it wasn't just a, free ebook. I mean, who cares? There are free ebooks all the time. But at the same time, it was very, very expensive. Strictly speaking, the cost was $330, but the actual out-of-pocket investment was much more than that because I ordered an entire carton of hard copies. Now, I could have ordered less, but economies of scale, so You know, prior to the giveaway, I've made $225. After the giveaway, I have made considerably less. And I don't know how much of that is because I did both a physical and an ebook giveaway. On the one hand, I feel like I only got as many downloads as I did because the ebook was free. But on the other hand, that does encourage hoarding behavior. I have seen a trickle of ratings pop up post the giveaway, but other than that, it's really hard to tell whether these ebooks are just sitting on people's e-readers and accumulating digital dust. Had I simply made the ebook discounted and not free, I think I still would have gotten some sales, but I don't know how many it would have been. And at this stage of my self-publishing career, I feel like it is better for me to get more people to read my books rather than fixate too much on sales, because building a readership is going to take a while. So if I take that view, the net cost of this experiment to me has been about $100, which I feel like has been worth it just for the learning experience. If I were to do this again, I think I would still offer the signed hardcovers, and I think I still would cover international shipping because I'm in Australia. I'd also like to experiment with discounting the book instead of just making it completely free, or at least limiting the amount of time that I made the book free. Because of the way Amazon structures their promotional incentives, I feel like most authors typically either set their books to perma-free or free for a limited window of time. So I feel like making my book free for the entire month of September may not have been the best move. And if you look into what David Gaughran recommends in his book Amazon Decoded, as well as how he structures his promo events, it seems the Amazon algorithm rewards promo stacking. So spreading out my promo activities over weeks instead of several days was probably also not the best way to do it. That said, a really interesting thing happened in the third week of this giveaway. This massive spike right here. I cannot explain it. I did not do anything to generate this spike, and it's just so weird. And so I really have no explanation for what happened on the 21st of September, except I guess the book started getting a whole heap of recommendations through the Amazon algorithm. That's the only feasible explanation I can think of. There you go, Amazon algorithm. It does work if you can stack it with enough traffic. The thing I really want to try next time, and which I suspect might have even better results, is doing a cover reveal for book 2. Cover reveals, especially when you've got full cover art that size for a print version, seem to do really, really well. And it's super interesting because recently a DIY book cover with Midjourney AI art on it has done this well, despite the author getting quite a bit of pushback in the comments. I will report back with results in due course, and I will put that video for you right here. But in the meantime, I've got a sequel to finish.